Hey everyone, it's Rachel. In this tutorial, I'll teach you how to color a colorful oil painting portrait using the Color Therapy app. If you want to follow along, find this image under Close-Up Eye. Since we're working with thick brush strokes, it's helpful to periodically squint your eyes to see how it's coming together. And you can also zoom out of the image to help. So I just wanted to start off by showing you guys this reference of this oil painting. So a lot of the colors are really bright and bold. The highlights are white, yellow, orange colors, and the shadows are cool tones. So I'm going to be using this reference just to know where to put my highlights and shadows. So let's start off with the flat brush tool. Let's do size 55 and opacity at 100. Then I'm going to be using the Vibrant palette. I like this palette because it's kind of just a rainbow of colors. So it's actually pretty simple. So let's just make sure that coloring inside the lines mode is set to off and just start off with a color. So I'm starting off with sort of a neutral yellow and I'm following along the lines that are already there. And also you just want to go with the motion and the movement of the object and then just switch over to the next color. So I just go pretty loosely. Don't need to think about it too much. Just drawing in loose strokes. And so just have fun with it. Just rainbow it if you want to. You can also limit the colors too. You could try doing only cool colors or only warm colors. And so what I'm doing is just quick, short strokes with my finger. Doing a lot of red around the actual eye area. Doing some light blue in the whites of the eyes, just making sure that I'm just curving around that iris. Now let's add some darker colors. So I'll go to the Skin Shades palette and I'm just going to use the darkest color and just adding in some eyebrows. So I'm just kind of doing quick strokes along the eyebrows, just in the same direction, following the curve. Now let's do another layer, but we're going to add in some details. So I'm lowering the opacity down to 50 and then the size can be as needed, but I'm going to do about size 10 to start. Going back in with the Vibrant palette, just continuing to add in more layers with those quick short strokes. I'm just outlining areas that I want to add some color into. I'm adding the red to the lid, the top lid. You can also turn coloring inside the lines mode to on around the eye. So if you need some more guidance and some more creating some more directional lines, that might help. Remember, you can lower the stroke opacity as needed just to see how it's looking. So for little details around the eye itself, I would probably do size 10. And then beyond that, for the areas around the eye, the skin below the eyebrow, maybe do size 30 or so. I'm going to add in some really fun, colorful strokes into the pupil. Some red, orange, even some green, just a bunch of just totally rainbowing it. For the pupil, I would raise the opacity to 100 just so we can get some really bold colors in there. For your emphasis, you really just want to focus on the pupil and just the eye itself, because that's going to draw the most focus. So I would say the more layers you can add, the better. Just adding more emphasis and it just adds more dimension to your subject, the more layers that you add. Remember also, you want to curve with the object too. So for example, the whites of the eyes, make sure that you're curving with that. So the eyeball is looking round. So curving around the pupil. Now let's add in some black just to create some contrast. So let's do opacity 100 and just focus on the pupil. So you want to draw a really big black circle. Just fill that all the way in. You can raise the size as needed. So make it really bold. And you can turn coloring inside the lines mode to on and just you can color around the inside edge of the pupil to make it black and then turn it back off and outline where the eyelashes are. Sort of bring it down. For the eyelashes, I'm going to do size 8 and opacity 80. And I'm just following those guided lines already there for the eyelashes. You don't have to do so many. Remember, this is just really loose. So just loosen up a lot with this. Don't worry so much about those details. If anything, focus your details on the iris. So let it just be kind of free flowing. Add some bright white highlights into the eye just to really bring up that contrast. And I would use the same settings for the eyelashes, just bring it into the eyebrows too. Quick, short strokes, just going with the movement and the shape of the object. Now let's also use a smudge tool. So I'm going to set the size at 80 and opacity at 100. So let's go ahead and just blend in the layers that we already have. Go ahead and just sample a color and just start to blend in a little bit with another layer on top of it. This will just sort of like fill in the gaps and just kind of add a nice textural look to it. And don't need to apply this everywhere, just a few little spots here and there. You can try out these steps to paint an entire portrait this way as well. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Color Therapy YouTube channel so you don't miss any new tutorial videos. Thanks for watching our tutorial. You can get the Color Therapy app for free on the App Store.